CNN's Jake Tapper and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent got into it yesterday.
Tapper pressing Bessent on the $400 million jet Qatar gave President Trump. Let's watch.
Nobody in the Middle East gives things just to, or anywhere in the world, just gives a $400 million jet just to be nice.
Well, I don't know, Jake. The French gave us the Statue of Liberty. The British gave us the Resolute desk. I'm not sure they asked for anything in advance.
I will just say about the Statue of Liberty, I mean, that was authorized by Congress, and it belongs to the American people. It doesn't belong to whoever was president at the time.
Well, I think that this plane would be a gift to the American government.
Trump himself is railing at ABC over the notion that Qatar is gifting him a plane. He wrote on Truth Social, "Everyone, including their lawyers, has been told that ABC must not say Qatar is giving me a free Boeing 747 airplane, because they are not. Instead, and as fake news ABC fully knows and understands, this highly respected country is donating the plane to the United States Air Force Defense Department and not to me." In case you weren't aware, the Clinton Foundation confirmed in 2016 that they had received $1 million gift from Qatar during Hillary Clinton's time as Secretary of State.
Former Vice President Mike Pence also weighed in on the matter. Here is him in an interview with NBC's Meet the Press.
Qatar has a long history of playing both sides. They support Hamas. They supported al-Qaeda. I think it's inconsistent with our security, with our intelligence needs. But I think it's just a bad idea, and my hope is the president will think better of it.
Well, look, it might be a bad idea, and it has drawn a lot of scrutiny from even, frankly, Republicans who tend to like Trump. I've seen a lot of people angry about this. Laura Loomer, of all people, was angry about this. She defends everything Trump does. I guess not everything. She's not defending this. And I, too, think that it was probably not a good idea, and the fact that Attorney General Pam Bondi signed off on it, well, she was herself a paid lobbyist for Qatar before becoming the Attorney General, is concerning. But when Mike Pence goes to they support Hamas, they're for Hamas. Well, look, that's not, I'm sorry, but that's contrary to the Trump foreign policy. The Trump foreign policy is we need to have peace in the Middle East. We need to have peace in Europe. We need to engage with diplomatically people who are not perfect. Qatar is doing diplomacy on our behalf to Hamas because we're trying to bring this conflict to an end. Hamas is a reprehensible terrorist organization that I wish was banished from the face of the earth. But what is going on, what the Biden administration was doing, was not working. I believe in engaging through diplomacy even reprehensible people, even the government of Iran, even Vladimir Putin, even Xi Jinping, even North Korea if they want to talk to us. I think that's a more realistic foreign policy. That's what Trump wants to do. It was not the Republican foreign policy for years. Trump is trying something different, and he has, I believe, the support of the American people, certainly the support of the America First base to do diplomatic engagement. So that whole well, they're Hamas. They support Hamas. We should never talk to them. We don't have the luxury of only talking to perfect people. Then we would talk to no one. That's my view.
I just don't think it's a diplomatic engagement. I think that Trump is accepting a gift for Trump. Unlike the things that we've gotten in the past from countries that belong to the country. This is going to go to Trump's library. No, that's ridiculous.
Oh, so you're against libraries?
No, I'm not against libraries.
Against
but
books?
I think the difference between Trump and Hillary Clinton, which is important to bring up, that she did get $1 million donation to the Clinton Foundation. Like required by law, she disclosed the donation to Congress, allowed them to stew on it.
This is being disclosed. This isn't a secret. It's a jet. It's a marvelous jet being sent to us.
Trump told us that he's doing it as opposed to asking. And if you know anything, I know you do, not if you do. You know the Constitution, the Emoluments Clause. It requires anybody in public service, any civil servant, any president especially, to disclose and discuss any millions of dollars, any gift in the cent of $1, a cent, all the way to millions, to Congress to discuss before accepting it. Trump did it backwards. He accepted it and then just does what Trump does, what he wants. Doesn't follow any rules.
He's saying it would be stupid not to accept it.
No, this is rampant with congressional and ethical issues. This is also a huge scam for American taxpayers because several aviation experts just this weekend were talking about how much it's going to cost. So the jet is worth $400 million, but it's going to cost more than $1 billion, they estimate, to get this thing secured so it has the proper clearance and proper access to make sure there's no bugs in there from the Middle East or from Qatar, from anybody. This is a presidential flight that we're taking. Do you know
$1 billion to make sure it doesn't have any bugs?
Yes, because you have to.
But I've seen TV. You get that little scanny Mini
take the whole
device, you
plane
do
apart. No,
this.
cut it out. They got to take the whole plane apart and make sure
well,
that there's nothing in there.
then we
So not
shouldn't do
only
it.
are we paying a ton of money for Trump's toy jet that he's going to enjoy for his library and his friends that want to fly out of town to visit
Fine.
his library, we're also wasting a ton of taxpayer money, especially for the people that have Doge and talk about saving. This is a huge scam to me, and they're gonna want something for something. There's already conversations about
then we shouldn't
our
have to use it.
security officials being uncomfortable with our conversations in the Middle East. What we're doing with AI. So we're providing them the tools and the resources to continue to develop their AI over there. And there's concerns that they play both sides, like Mike Pence was talking about.
they do play
and if
both
they have
sides.
extreme access to AI, they can provide information to China. And we are in a bad situation. So Trump definitely owes something for this $400 million gift.
You know what? Trump is the president, and security experts and officials don't get to dictate the foreign policy of the United States. The president does. The democratically elected president and Congress. Now, I would love Congress to have more say. It's actually Congress is the one that should be making the foreign policy, and the president just cares
And deciding if we get free planes.
I agree. I wish Congress would get off their lazy behinds and actually do some governing of this country. Unfortunately, our Congress has decided that the president, if the president and the Congress are controlled by the same party, the president can do whatever he wants. That is the way our Congress has decided to handle things. But I don't think that nebulous national security officials get to sweep in and say, Qatar plays both sides. We don't want you talking to Qatar or sharing technology with Qatar. They don't get to make that determination. Trump does. The president does. The person the American people voted for to make a clear break with those security officials who've gotten us into catastrophe after catastrophe. What credibility do the Iraq has weapons of mass destruction crowd to lecture anybody else about what's the appropriate Middle East policy? Those people should be discredited forever. And that's within the Republican Party. I'm not saying that as a partisan thing. Those voices are being minimized in favor of voices who favor diplomatic engagement and peace. And I think that's a good thing.
I think
plain or no plain.
The good thing about living in a democracy and having voted President Trump into office means that he needs to listen to the concerns of voters. And so it's not
Voters, not national security experts.
right, but
voters.
it's not up to him to disregard people that have also been voted in office that are across both aisles saying that this reeks of something inappropriate. And I think that he needs to pay attention and understand that while it might be nice and fancy, maybe it's not appropriate that our official fleet is given to us by Qatar instead of something that we created here for ourselves, understanding how much security and how much he can decide if we go to war from flight. We need to make sure that this is as secure as possible, which is why that price tag, even if it's overestimated of a couple $100 million or $1 billion to make this airplane secure, this 13-year-old airplane secure, is not ridiculous. It's ridiculous that he's even accepting this. I think Air Force One was already going to be updated by Boeing, and we should be in a good situation using the fleet that we had planned to use and keep it within our government, you know what I mean, and not to personal libraries. Well, anyway, more President Trump. He reignites his feud with Taylor Swift. Uh-oh, Swifties. And Bill Maher comes to his defense. I can feel the Swifties mobilizing as we speak.
Oh, dear.